Welcome back to Brailsford Woodworks. Today I've been commissioned to make a 24 by 15 inch teak cutting board. So I've already glued up my boards, and the first thing I'm going to do here is plane them down using my woodpecker's route and plane jig. So this jig really is a game changer for me in doing extra large cutting boards. This is making it far, far easier for me. So in the case of this board, I have glued up two large boards, and I am now planing both of them where I can then cut them into strips and get them glued up into a cutting board. And this will finish up the second board. From that point, I moved on to slicing the boards up into strips so I could then turn them on edge and glue them up into a cutting board. Between these two boards, I had slightly more than what I needed to finish it up. If you've never worked with teak before, it's a good thing to know that you must wash down all of the glued faces with acetone before you try gluing them up, especially using something like Titebond 3 like I use. There is a lot of natural oils in there, and if you cut it or you plane it, you'll find that it gums up tools very, very quickly. So in this case, you really need to wipe it down. You'll get a much better bond if you do. Thankfully, acetone evaporates very, very quickly, and you can get right on to gluing it up. So here I am. I'm laying them out and getting ready to apply the glue. As I've mentioned, I use Titebond 3 for my cutting boards. I usually apply a very heavy coat. You want to have squeeze out. This is not the time to be stingy with your glue. After I've applied my glue and before I clamp them, I always put a big square on them, make sure one edge is nice and straight. And here I am using my Harbor Freight parallel jaw clamps. So far, those things have been very, very nice. So it's 48 hours later, it's back to the route and plane jig, and now it's time to finish up the board. After this is done, I will sand it, and I use 3 grits. I only take it up to 150 grit. After all, it is just a cutting board. This jig really did make easy work of this, and it really did leave a nice finish and easy to sand. Time to do the flip side and then on to sanding. So I've already squared up the sides, and now it's time to make the ends square to the sides. Before I move on to sanding the body, I first do the edges on my oscillating belt sander, and that does a nice job, gets me to 90% of the way I need to be on the edges. From there, it's on to using my palm router with an 1/8 inch round over. I spared you from watching the main sanding, which I used my 6-inch Bosch. I used my 1/4 sheet palm sander to sand the round overs, and then I'm moving on to adding my finger grips, which I use on my jaw horse. I use the jaws of the jaw horse as the stops to give me the dimensions of my handholds. And then it's on to lasering and adding my logo. I stopped using a branding iron a couple years ago and went on to a laser, and it does a much better job. From there, it's on to drilling the holes for my feet before I apply my finish. Then it's on to my mineral oil, which I apply a very, very heavy coat, and I will let it sit before I add my top coat of Howard's Feed and Wax. The mineral oil is on, the top coat is on. The only thing remaining is to add the feet. So that is it. This project will be delivered to the customer on Saturday, and I'm very pleased with how it came out. Thank you all for watching. If you think you've gotten anything out of it, please click like and subscribe. Also leave me comments because I'll answer each and every one. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.